$244 billion. Just look at that number. That's not the GDP of a small country. Nope. That is the value one single company added to its market cap in one day. It's a number so big it feels fake. But it's not. And it's just the first piece of a really wild and deeply contradictory 24-hour story.
All right, let's get into it. What we're going to do is unpack a single day, September 10th, 2025. This was a day where robotaxis literally started driving on public streets, a shocking tragedy struck a college campus, and you could feel the pressure building in Washington. By connecting these dots, you start to see this incredible picture of a world being pulled in two completely different directions at the exact same time.
So here's how we're going to break it all down. We'll kick things off with that massive AI boom. Then we'll look at how innovation is just completely rewriting the rulebook for business. After that, we're going to make a really sharp turn to talk about the human cost and the political tragedies of the day. Then we'll zoom in on the pressure cooker that is DC. And finally, we'll try to figure out, what does all of this actually mean?
Okay, first up, let's follow the money. Because one of the biggest stories of the day wasn't just a headline, it was more like a financial earthquake. And it was all set off by one tech company's earnings report.
To really understand what happened, you just have to look at this chart. Wall Street expected Oracle's backlog of future business, it's a mouthful, they call it remaining performance obligations, to be around $180 billion. Pretty good, right? Well, instead, thanks to a tidal wave of AI deals, they reported an absolutely mind-blowing $455 billion. The market just went nuts. Oracle stock shot up 36%, its best day since 1992.
And the personal impact of that surge, it was just immense. In a matter of hours, Oracle's founder, Larry Ellison, saw his personal net worth jump by over $100 billion. Think about that. A fortune of that size created in a single workday.
And it wasn't just him. The wealth creation spread right through the executive suite. Oracle CEO Safra Catz added $412 million to her own net worth. The scale of this is just, it's hard to wrap your head around.
But you know, this wasn't just a story about billionaires getting even richer. As Jim Cramer from CNBC put it, this was a life-changing day for regular people too, for regular investors. It was one of those rare, tangible moments where you could literally see the AI boom minting new millionaires overnight.
But here's the thing. That huge AI-driven boom wasn't just some isolated event. It was actually a sign of a much, much bigger shift happening. On that very same day, other stories were breaking that really showed how this new economy is fundamentally rewriting the rules of our world.
I mean, just take a look at this lineup. Out in Las Vegas, Amazon's Zoox robotaxis, the ones that look kind of like futuristic toasters on wheels, they started picking up members of the public for the first time. Over on Wall Street, the buy now, pay later giant Klarna went public, and its stock popped 15%. And then there's this. Uber Eats announced a deal that could totally change how small businesses get access to cash.
So let's dig into that last one, because it's a perfect example. The old way for a restaurant to get a loan was, well, a nightmare. Weeks of paperwork, credit checks, personal guarantees. This new partnership between Uber Eats and a fintech company called Pipe just skips all that. It bypasses the old banking system entirely. Restaurants can get cash based on their actual sales data, no personal guarantees needed, and the money can be in their account in just 24 hours. That's what we mean by making capital frictionless. It's a game changer.
Okay, so on the same day of incredible wealth creation and breathtaking innovation, a much darker, much more painful reality was also unfolding. The day's headlines weren't just about stock prices and IPOs, they were about profound, real, human loss.
In Utah, the 31-year-old conservative activist Charlie Kirk, the founder of Turning Point USA, was shot and killed while he was speaking at an event at Utah Valley University. The news just sent this shock wave of grief and disbelief across the entire country.
The assassination was condemned from all sides, across the political spectrum. And this quote from former Congresswoman Gabby Giffords, who, as you know, is a survivor of political violence herself, it really captures that shared sentiment, a plea for unity against violence, no matter what your political beliefs are.
And at the same time, another story of human cost was playing out. And this one took place right at the messy intersection of that new innovation economy and the old one. Down in Georgia, at a construction site for a huge new electric vehicle battery plant, a federal immigration raid was underway.
In total, 475 workers were detained, all for allegedly not having the right documentation. And get this, over 300 of them were South Korean nationals, engineers and specialists who were brought over specifically to build this factory. A factory that was part of a multi-billion-dollar strategic investment in the U.S. As of that day, they were all just waiting for chartered flights to be sent back home.
Now, if you looked beneath all of these massive flashing headlines, there was another current running through the day's news, a story of institutional conflict, of key government agencies in Washington feeling some serious pressure. You know, a single event might not seem like a big deal on its own, but when you lay things out on a timeline like this, stretching back a few weeks but all culminating in news on September 10th, a clear pattern starts to emerge. You see this constant friction between the White House and these supposedly independent bodies, like the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the Federal Reserve, and the FBI.
And on this one day, September 10th, each one of these became a flashpoint. This isn't just some inside the Beltway drama. This is about trust. You've got a direct challenge to the independence of the Federal Reserve. That affects our whole economy. You have top FBI officials suing, saying they were fired for political reasons. That affects the rule of law. And then you have a watchdog investigating the very integrity of the economic data we all depend on. Data which, by the way, had just been revised down by almost 1 million jobs.
So, let's just step back and take a breath. You have this incredible financial boom. You have unbelievably fast innovation. And then, at the exact same time, you have profound human tragedy and this deep, grinding strain on our core institutions. How on earth do you make sense of all of that happening at once?
Well, this table really lays the whole conflict of the day bare. On one side, you've got the innovation economy in hyperdrive, staggering wealth from AI, driverless cars becoming real, frictionless money for small businesses. And on the other side, you have the human and political reality, a shocking political assassination, immigrant workers being rounded up at the construction site of a next-gen factory, and the very foundations of government under enormous pressure. It's like two parallel worlds coexisting on a single Tuesday.
So we've just walked through one single 24-hour period, September 10th, 2025, and it leaves us with a really critical question, doesn't it? The world of tech and finance is accelerating at a pace that is just breathtaking, creating wealth and possibilities that we could barely even imagine a few years ago. But as that world speeds up, is it creating a reality so different, so detached from our human and political struggles that we're basically living in two separate worlds at once? That's something we're thinking about.